a chance to shockwave or anything there. And it's the Unicorns of Love with a 3-0 domination. I, for one, would not want to pick the Unicorns of Love to face.
We sacrificed a lot of free time, we practiced a lot. And I think we are ready to win against Millennium.
I think we are stronger than them. We just have to do everything to stay in the LCS.
It's a best of 5 and everything can happen. Getting into LCS is a really huge step for our team.
Teammate, take home the Challenger Championship.
We have to come in it with a strong mentality, a strong game plan.
Now that we're the LCS team trying to retain the spot, there's a lot of pressure on us.
Our stakes is just our dream to stay alive. We just want to keep that, so we're gonna, fight for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Day 3 of the 2015 Spring Promotion Tournament, coming to you live from our studios in Los Angeles, California. I'm James Dash Patterson, joined by Zion Spartan of Team Dignitas for today's action. Welcome to the desk.
Great to be here.
Of course it is, because we're going to have some fantastic matches today. And in the promotion tournament, LCS teams are literally fighting for their careers against the top challenger teams. If they lose today, they will surrender their spot in the 2015 spring split. Zion, you are a player who has been here before. What is it like playing in the promotion tournament?
Playing in the promotion tournament is definitely a lot of stress. You're here, your job's on the line, your life's on the line, your career is on the line. Everything for you is on the line. You don't know what's going to happen. And everything is decided in this one best of 5. So it's definitely, I've played in it twice. I was about to play in it 3 times in a row. And I'm definitely glad I dodged relegations, because it's a lot of stress and huge decisions are about to be made.
Yeah, a scary prospect to think that your future rides on a singular best of 5. Now, here are the teams who have qualified for the 2015 LCS in this tournament so far. In Europe, the Copenhagen Wolves made short work of H2K, taking that series in 3 games. And despite getting off to a slow start, Gambit defeated SK Gaming Prime. While in North America, Counterlogic Gaming fell behind 2-0 against Curse Academy, they charged back with 3 straight wins to take the series. And Evil Geniuses will also return to the NALCS after a convincing sweep over Team Coast. Zion, none of these challenger teams so far have earned a spot in the LCS. Will that trend end today?
I think it is going to end today. I think Team 8 has a great chance out of all 3 of these NA challenger teams to make it. Also, Unicorns of Love against Millennium also think they have a great chance of making it. So I think two of the best challenger teams, I think, are going to have the chance of making it today. And I'm really looking forward to these games.
Unicorns of Love also have the best name ever in the history of ever. So here's a look at the remaining matches on the docket today. First up, it's the battle for the final spot in the European LCS as Millennium faces off against the surging Unicorns of Love. Directly after that best of 5, we'll switch continents to the North American LCS as Complexity defends its spot against the Summer Challenger champions, Team 8. For more info on our rising stars from the Challenger scene, or to catch up with all of our veteran teams and players, head to lolesports.com for schedules, stats, VODs, and more. You can also vote for the teams you think will win today by clicking on schedule and giving them a thumbs up. Now we'd like to hear from you guys at home, so head over to Twitter and let us know which teams do you think will qualify for the LCS today and why. Send your answers to us at lolesports along with the hashtag LCS, and we'll read your responses on air later in the show. To get our first matchup underway, we're going to send it over to our battle-hardened challenger veterans, Freak and Zyrene.
Battle-hardened, I like that very much, Dash. What's up, everybody? I am David Freak Turley. With me is, again, Aiden Zyrene Moon, also battle-hardened. How's it going?
It's going all right, man. A little bittersweet, though, because this may be the last time we're sharing this desk this year.
This desk. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We're going to get straight into our first match for the final guaranteed spot in the European LCS. It's Millennium take on Unicorns of Love.
And a lot of people wouldn't have expected Millennium to end up in this position. At the start of Week 11, they were the favorites to finish in 3rd and go to Worlds. But they had a disastrous Super Week, going 0-4, and then at Gamescom, they only won a single game, finishing the summer in 6th place and knocking them down here.
It's true. So we're gonna have to see what happens today here. While Millennium have been trending downward, their opponents today are actually enjoying an upswing. The Unicorns of Love looked great in the last month of the season, and as soon as they picked up Gilius in the jungle, they took down NIP and have been a top challenger contender ever since. They play a strong strategic game with strong control over objectives and vision.
Yeah, and as the 6th place European LCS team, Millennium had first pick of who they wanted to face in this tournament, and it's interesting that they chose the Unicorns of Love. Because Millennium, they struggled to get any wards on the map during the playoffs. They've usually played a pick comp style all season, and it's almost impossible to get picks if you can't see through the fog of war and deny that vision from your enemies, which is the big strength of Unicorns of Love, is their map play.
Right, so the map play mismatch is going to be a fun one to watch for here. However, Millennium's edge in this matchup is their individual skill in their lanes, because one of the big question marks for Unicorns of Love has actually been their bot lane of AD carry Vardogs and support Hylissang. They're going to need to do something to keep Creatine in check, because he's an amazing AD carry on Millennium's side. Creatine's a fan of his mid-game bully AD carries like Lucian and Corki, and he might just shut down the Unicorns early by himself.
Yeah, and in the mid lane, it's Kerp, who is perhaps the strongest laner from Millennium alongside Creatine. In fact, the 4 most banned champions against the team are targeted against Kerp. Ziggs, Fizz, Zilean, which is a flex pick, and Twisted Fate. On the flip side, mid laner Power of Evil, though, for Unicorns of Love, is the heart and soul of that team. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this game go where the mid lane takes it.
Yeah, that'll be a fun match to watch for in this best of 5. But despite having to fight for their jobs today, Millennium is still confident that they are the stronger team. However, UOL don't exactly agree with them.
I think we are stronger than Unicorns of Love in every aspect of the game. Maybe they're gonna try to pull out something special, and I think that's the only key for them to victory, because I feel really confident with my team right now.
I think they are good players, I respect them, but I think we can make it. Our synergy with Vardogs is better, I think.
I know they're really good players, but I'm really confident in myself and Hylissang as well in bot lane.
I think we're both pretty passive bot lanes that just want to farm and then just wait for the good engage to do something. Their support is basically the playmaker there, so you just have to watch out for him.
We should be stronger than them. We played a lot last half a year. They didn't have this chance to play in the LCS, and I feel like our macro level should be higher than theirs.
Well, certainly confidence on both sides, and I think there's nothing really out of the ordinary said in that video.
Yeah, they really are just... I'm glad that they're both thinking that they can walk away with a win here, because there's some teams that walk in demoralized, and then you just don't want to start off on that foot.
And the funny thing as well is it's like the top of the LCS teams here versus the sort of bottom of those challenger teams here. But I think it's actually the best chance for a challenger upset in this promo tournament, interestingly as that sounds. Just seems like UOL have been really good the last month, and everyone's respecting them a whole lot.
Yeah, we heard from Young Buck and Woolite from Copenhagen Wolves after their victory that they had been scrimming Unicorns of Love and actually think that they will take this series because they looked so good in their map play.
Right, they said they were the only team that was giving them any trouble at all. So UOL might just be the favorites here if you believe some of the scrim records. We're going to check out the starting lineups, though. On the blue side, we have Millennium, Kevin in the top lane, Cotton X in the jungle, Kerp in the mid lane, Creatine on AD carry, and Jayri on support.
And on the red side, it's the Unicorns of Love. Vizichachi at top, Gilius in the jungle, Power of Evil in the mid lane, Vardags on AD carry, and Hylissang on support.
And today's featured matchup is going to be in the mid lane. It's Millennium's Kerp against the Unicorns of Love's Power of Evil.
Yeah, Kerp is coming off a fantastic individual performance from last split. If you picked him up on Fantasy, you know what we're talking about here. He brought a lot of new followers to the cult of the trackball. Kerp is a high kill, high death mid laner, so he can be punished, but if left unchecked, he will rampage through his opponents.
He doesn't even need Hecarim to do it, but Power of Evil is no stranger to the big name mid lanes. He dispatched Alex each with relative ease when they played NIP about a month ago, and even picked up some one-on-one kills in that lane matchup. He's a brash young player, he's got a lot of energy, a lot of confidence, and a lot of people say he's the best player on that team.
Yeah, they picked him up after Summer Series 2. He played for them originally, dropped off the team, and then he came back, and then he had a huge showing in playoffs. His Syndra is something that you have to pay either a ban or respect to.
He's getting a lot of respect overall in the fan base in general, saying he's one of the best mid laners in Challenger overall. So going to see if he can make his mark here, but let's check in with LOLesports.com and see where the vote stands. Right now, seems like 53% of you think that Millennium will fight off the competition and keep their spot, but certainly a very close vote.
Yeah, just based on name, I would go with Unicorns of Love, though.
Sure.
Just if I didn't know these two teams, I'd be like, that one.
Well, but to be fair, though, this is a battle where you need to kill your opponents. How would Unicorns of Love dispatch people? Right? You feel like they'd just be friendly and hug them the whole time. and only one can play Arcade Hecarim.
But does the Unicorn have to survive a Millennium?
Unicorns actually, I believe, are timeless and immortal.
Boom.
So they just outlast him. We're going to have longer games than NALCS, guys. Complexity's playing later on. I mean, we might just have a 5-hour best of 5 and then another 5-hour best of 5.
Who loves League of Legends?
I love League of Legends. And Kyle loves orange soda. Let's get ourselves into the game. Millennium here on the blue side. Syndra already removed from Power of Evil. Nobody is surprised here.
Yeah, you have to pay respect to that. It's something you cannot put him on. And it means that Millennium, they're not going to first pick that for Kerp. They'll most likely try to just... I think there's going to be a lot of mid lane focus here in these bans. We said that this is going to be what dictates the match, and I really think both of these teams come in prepared for this.
So far, 2 bans for the mid lane from Millennium, 1 so far from UOL. They are moving Kevin's Alistair. The Jarvan goes away from Gilius, though. And now we got to see what else UOL decides to remove here.
So Gilius, he does have some fallbacks there. He was playing a ton of Jarvan, but he's also got the Rengar, which did take a nerf since last time we saw him. But he's also been playing a ton of Lee Sin. That is his go-to champion, and he's still able to make plays like he would in the early game on Jarvan.
Well, looks like Kha'Zix, though, is the big one there for Cotton. Seems very common that these teams are now first picking this champion. And of course, it is Europe, so Aurelia is a big deal, and that's going to go over to Vizicachi. Whereas Tristana is here for Vardogs.
Yeah, Water Donkey locking in his most played champion in solo queue. He loves duelists. He loves being able to win the lane, but still have something in the late game. So he likes to just be a little passive at the start, and then go further on later and be like, you have to shut me down, you have to pay respect to me, or I will duel you in the mid game and win.
Well, it's going to be something that Kevin will have to deal with, though Kevin, no stranger to duelists himself. Aatrox, Aurelia, and Jax thinks he's going to play a bunch of, but this time around it's going to be Mundo. So Millennium actually going stealth with all their picks, picking into the lanes they've already seen, and hiding their support as well as their mid laner here.
And here's the big thing, too, about picking that Lucian for Creatine. It's the most played champion of Vardags by about 70%. I'll say most of his games are on that champion with 263, and his next most played is only about 100.
Well, we'll have to see. The Lee Sin does come through for Gilius. Right now, it's going to be a nice cover pick for himself. Thresh does come out blind for Hylissang, and Jayri needs to consider what matchup he goes for. Now, I've seen a lot of supports now talk about Janna hype on Twitter. Jayri still says that Blitzcrank destroys her, which is true. Blitzcrank loves fighting Janna as a matchup, but I got to talk to him very briefly backstage before he went onto the stage, and he said, I was like, so what's the deal with the Janna hype? What do you think about this? And he's like, well, Blitzcrank beats her. I'm like, yeah, I know that one, but come on. I know you love Blitzcrank for everything. He's like, well, Janna's really good if there's no sustain to fight against. Otherwise, you can just kind of poke out the Janna lane. Interestingly, though, without Thresh having sustain, he might go for Nami anyway. And it's going to be a blind pick Fizz and Nami for Jayri.
Yeah, no surprise there. Kerp, that is his most played champion during the regular season in summer. So he's perfectly fine with playing that. And we talked about how they love playing pick-oriented compositions. They're going to have that Fizz synergizing with the Kha'Zix in the jungle.
Yeah.
They're going to look for some mid-game, early-game picks here for Millennium.
The SS energy is going to be pretty strong with the jungle and mid laner looking for kills. Power of Evil did bring out Cassiopeia during the playoffs, I believe. I think it was with a Yorick as well, if I remember correctly. Didn't pay off for him, though.
He also brought out an AP Kog'Maw before. This guy is no stranger to pulling out new champions. He does favor wave clear oriented champions as opposed to assassins. Oh, well, he's going to do both.
Yeah, exactly. Ari's going to come in here against Fizz. Now, the question is, can he dodge Sharks? Because Kerp is going to be very lethal on this Fizz. I also want to know how freed up these mid laners will be to roam around. But we do have our lineup secured on for this one. Millennium are going to go for some early game power in their lane. Unicorns of Love going to hope to scale up kind of in all these situations. A lot of damage threats in that team, though.
So this top lane matchup is something that Vizicachi he's going to be banging his head against this Mundo for a long time. They'll leave them up there. They'll join when team fights happen. With his mid lane, so it's going to dictate a lot of this game. It's that Fizz versus Ari. Who's got the pressure there? It's kind of on the junglers to show up and then apply it.
And you've got a Kha'Zix and a Lee Sin, both of whom don't have sort of guaranteed gank power. It's kind of all in their skill shot utilization, unless you like evolve Leap and attack someone afterwards, but that doesn't seem to be the common way to go about it. But yeah, I want to see how well these junglers can actually tilt that mid lane, because I think it is going to be a big deal how that 2-1-2 goes down. Now, guys, if these team comps made you want to switch your vote or vote even harder, you can tweet at LOL Esports and use hashtag MILWin or hashtag UOLWin, and we'll see in-game who has the crowd behind them. Because in the audience, the crowd's in front of them. But online, You're everywhere.
This has been.
You had nothing to say to that.
No, it's philosophical moments with Freak. I was just going to let that one sink in. Everybody appreciate it, and now we're back, and the game will be starting in just a second. But so it's Power of Evil. So this upstarting new mid laner that they brought back onto UOL has been impressing everybody up against Kerp.
Yeah. And this is the real test as well, is how do challenger players stack up against the LCS veterans?
Yeah, and one of the highest point scorers in Fantasy. He's a very bloody player, Kerp is.
Unfortunately, Fantasy doesn't work for the postseason.
No.
Otherwise, I've gotten so many games out of my CLG roster. And Doubleless Quadra would have gotten me so many points, but no. It stopped after week 11.
Yep.
Had to replace all those players.
Now, UOL, they're all grouped up on this right side, and actually it's being mirrored by Millennium, and they're going to the top side. They actually have no idea where the other team is.
Interesting. Yeah, Millennium have bypassed all the vision. A really late move in by Creatine. He actually...
They're going to be
he
spotted.
He triggered something.
UOL is going to be spotted here,
there it is.
Whereas UOL has no vision of Millennium. They went all the way around that one ward that was placed on that left side.
It's not too bad, though. They're going to go back into their own jungle. All they did get was the aggressive ward to spot if there's a red buff start.
Well, if he shows himself...
Oh, man. Yep, they saw it.
They saw it. Yep.
UOL knows that Millennium's right there. They could be in that brush. They saw Creatine, too, so they know the entire team is in that brush right there.
They have a Thresh.
Oh, man. They don't know they're spotted, is the thing.
Blind hook. And there it goes.
They got Kevin. Good damage. The charm's going to hit him as well. Three-man bubble. In goes Gilius. Loses half his health for that, though. And out goes UOL. Money, actually, 15 gold for J-Ree. Millennium win that level 1.
At the same time, though, Gilius got chunked out. He's going to have to be very careful here.
He's got to stay.
He's on this side. Minions have spawned. It looks like the lane swap coming through.
Millennium do have better warding. Okay, so Vizichachi's already in lane. He can TP in. There's 2 trinket wards available on UOL. Bardog's around the wing. Nice trinket. And he sees Millennium's jungle start. Now, this is actually Millennium getting away with basically a buff steal. They can't guarantee, UOL cannot guarantee that Gilius gets the Southern Red buff.
Yeah, exactly, because they don't have their AD carrying support on that bot side of the map. So they don't have a stronger lane to actually back him up. So he's going to have to walk over to that red. It's very risky, because he can be collapsed on.
Well, we'll see. Kevin has burned his teleport. Vizichachi still has his. He walked to the lane first. Should be a very slight lead here for the Aurelia in this matchup. Kerp versus Power of Evil, level 2 first as well for the UOL mid laner. So far, these guys are holding pretty nice. And Gilius is not going to be contested here. It will be a 2-buff start for both teams. And all is well with basically Australian standard lanes.
Australian standard.
Yep.
Flip it around. That'll be later on in the day. But look at that. The level 1 aggression from UOL. They're actually on their back foot. And the Millennium was just a little too far forward.
Well, that's the thing, though, is they hit level 2 first. It's a happy trade that Creatine and J-Ree will take. Again, they have healing on their lineup as well.
Oh, Gilly with the wraparound behind Kevin.
Vizichachi cannot quite land a stun, though. I think he's a little bit too healthy. There's the flash early by Kevin, but good damage by Gilius all the same.
Gets the flash, which is pretty big because it means he can wrap around. Kevin's going to put down his trinket ward, so you may revisit this in a minute. But look at this caught into the mid lane.
Going to do a whole bunch of damage. Nice jump in. They want that kill, and that will be first blood going over to Kerp. Now, is the ignite enough? It is not. Cotnex gets away.
First blood going over to Kerp, tilting that mid lane with that jungle pressure. Gilius made a visit bottom, so Cotnex knew that he could visit that mid lane. Also, he hit level 3 while Gilius was still 2 because he didn't clear an extra camp.
Well, level 3 finally with some counter jungling, but certainly a lead already for Millennium. The assassin synergy so far working great for Kerp and Cotnex.
Yeah, Cotnex getting that level 3 and getting the leap for himself to close the distance was a really big part of that play.
Absolutely was. Imagine if Gilius had the Tempest Grip or the slow, maybe to get Vizichachi into range. Might have made a difference against Kevin. Gilius still waiting in the wings. Now, he knows the Trinket Ward timing. It's still about 20 seconds away, but he can maybe slink in against Kevin. Just walks right by it anyway. Kevin knows to be safe here.
That's going to be Gilius going back up to his jungle. And there's still pressure on this top lane. Creatine is just shoving that lane in, having about a 7 CS advantage, 6.
Yeah, the top lane is going to keep going Millennium's way. What I do think is interesting, though, is Kerp here spent his first blood gold on double Doran's Ring, as well as getting a pink ward early in his southern jungle. So it's going to really hurt some of Gilius' gank paths and make it much harder for him to knock down Kevin.
Oh, Gilius didn't actually clear the red completely either. He left it up. So as soon as Cotnex makes a rotation around there and finds it, you'll be able to clear it out. But that means it's delayed for the second part, which may play a factor later on if there's a dragonfly. Keep tabs on that.
Yeah, it depends how much Cotnex farms here, because the fact that he's only going to get one buff clear, he might not get level 6. But right now he's farming pretty well, and certainly out-farming Gilius. Vizichachi does have a stun available. He's injured enough that he would be able to get in on Kevin.
The wave pushing up, but that's going to allow Kevin to put that ward down. He thinks he might be safe.
Oh, Gilius! Oh, man. Kevin still had 1 minute left on his teleport. He had to stay in this lane for another couple of waves there.
And ganking the Mundo pre-6 would have been the best possible play he could have made there, and he had the opportunity to do it, but
oh my
instead
God,
backs.
And now Cotnex is here. I'm sorry, but just like the rough timing in that one. Cotnex was not there for a counter gank nearly in time. That could have so easily been a kill for the against the flashless Dr. Mundo.
Cotton actually just shows himself, doesn't even show himself bot. He shows up and then he backs off, just thinking that would be the lane that's going to get ganked.
Right, he's like, okay, well, Kevin's flash is still down. Okay, he really had to push up this time. Again, a late instinct there, but he had the right idea. I was like, maybe I should counter gank this, so nothing happens, and backs right off. So smart stuff by Cotnex. Back to the farm game, level 5 on himself. Looks like he should be right en route to get level 6 on his blue buff respawn.
And there's already
really
about
very far back.
A 700 gold lead here for Millennium just off that first blood and the way that they have been CSing in these lanes. But it's been back and forth because Vizichachi actually has a decent CS lead over Kevin.
Wow, yeah, that lane's going incredibly well, though Kerp does have a nice lead in the mid lane. In comes Cotnex over time. The Shark hits! Power of Evil, half health to Gilius. Maybe he didn't want to do that when he's got to flash away, and Kerp gets the double kill. Millennium's mid lane is gigantic.
Kerp hits level 6 first, Sharks. Gilius eats a huge chunk of damage off of it too. Being in base contact with him, it was the best 2-on-2 skirmish that Millennium could have hoped for.
Yeah, that's just really, really silly though by Gilius. He thinks that 40 hit point shield is worth risking, taking the Shark damage himself as well. And that is just gigantic. Millennium now getting ward control in the upper jungle. They're getting ready to steal away the red buff. They could even dive top.
Here's the thing too, is Fizz is a fantastic tower diver, so they can make this move very easily.
And Cotnex can get the reset and jump right out. If they do want to go top, it would likely work out. Not going to be the case. Cotton going to clear just the buff itself and leave the rest. Although Unicorns of Love will easily clear that one away. Gilius and Hillsong should drop those quickly.
Yeah, they're trying to collapse around it, but they didn't find anybody. Made it right out of there.
All right, well, Cotnex now level 6. Evolved Wings first, interestingly enough. So he will have the guaranteed sort of gank contribution, just getting into range and landing the passive slow, plus red buff.
3-kill lead already at the 8-minute mark for Millennium.
Yeah.
With 0 for Unicorns of Love. Their map movement been very uncharacteristic of the Unicorns of Love that we're used to. And with Gilius on the roster and his style of jungle, he's pretty close to the way that Kikis would play, the controlled style. But instead, being a little hesitant today, pulling that punch on the Dr. Mundo, who he saw was right next to him.
He could have been in the shop as he was recalling and just not noticed in time. And it's unfortunate. Sometimes it happens, though. You just miss the fact that you could have gotten away with something. Unfortunate there, but we can see an 18 minion lead, though. A good recall by Vardox. He's got BF Sword. Interesting choice that he actually walks back to the top lane. I feel like with Millennium's top lane, their dual lane rather, still top. That could have been a dragon for Unicorns of Love. Again, something that usually these guys pride themselves on is great objective play.
Yeah, the fact that he got the BF Sword back. Back for the BF Sword, could have gone straight to the dragon. But look at this. Exactly. Millennium is going to do that move instead. They're going to pick up the BF Sword, which is what you typically do, is stay in the lane swap until you have the money for a BF Sword. Back, then get dragon control again.
So Millennium about to be in a really good spot. They send Kevin top. He's got teleport though, so it's not really that big of a loss for him to be on the sort of quote-unquote wrong side of the map. Vizichachi has already recalled for a Sheen Flask and a Doran's Blade.
Yeah, if Vizichachi gets ganked, it's going to be very difficult for the Unicorns of Love because he is the person that is keeping them in this game right now.
Ooh, good flash, and he dodges the W. Does not dodge the bubble, but you know what? He's going to be okay. Summoner Spell lost, though, and it is certainly map control now for Millennium. After they sweep out the bottom lane, they could easily go for something. Gilius walking through some wards. Wants vision on Dragon, but you know it's going to be still a fairly easy grab for Millennium here.
And they're going to start walking up to it. Mundo in the top lane versus Tristana. Vardag's spending a long time farming that top lane. And this is going to be a match that's in favor of Millennium at the moment.
The Unicorns of Love looking to stop this one. They do have a few members around. Hook comes out, not going to be the steal. Nice pickup there by Cottonex. Gilius kicks, gets away with the lantern, but here comes the team. Ignite is on Gilius. He goes down to J-Ree. Power of Evil. Oh, misses his flash over the wall, and Kerp gets away with his 4th kill of the game.
Just solo kills him underneath the turret and the failed flash. It's a very thick wall. I don't think you can even flash that one.
Be a little bit farther north, you can make it over to the barrage. Now Cottonex forced to run away with Vizichachi, very close to killing him, but he's out of ult charges. Now Kerp has a lot of damage down on Vizichachi. Can he get stunned? Looks like the answer might be yes. The cooldown's there for a few more seconds, but they will not chase, and out goes Kerp.
Kerp on that Fizz, his most played champion of the regular split. He's showing up big here today, 4-0. High kill, high death mid laner. I think it's just going to be high kill this game for him.
Yeah, so far high death for his opponent, but certainly Kerp doing great. So 5-0, almost a 4,000 gold lead. Bottom lane out of turret, also almost dead. And I don't know what Unicorns of Love has in them to win this game. There goes the turret. There's the 4,000 gold lead. There's not much that's going well right now for the Challenger team.
And they're bullying Kerp underneath the turret. They're getting some damage on this one, which is, I guess, the best possible situation they could be in, considering everything's been going sour for them. Kerp's going to be forced to back, and they have 4 men strong in the mid lane now against 2. There's Vardag's pushing this top lane turret, so they're going to get some turret gold here out of this and try to close that gold lead that Millennium has over them. They'll make it about 3k if they get that top turret too.
Well, we'll see if they can close that gap, but right now, we're going to see what can happen. Unicorns of Love, their AD carry not too terribly far behind him. Just the global goal, of course, makes a big difference.
They got the hook.
J-Ree gets hooked. In comes Vizichachi, the charm as well. Finally, UOL, the ward control, gets themselves a kill.
UOL is a team that prides themselves on their vision control, and if they're running a pick-oriented comp, it's exactly what they need to do. And they, right there, with a big outplay and see what they can get off of it. Because even if it's just back timers where they don't lose a middle turret, which is usually the counter move, then they're going to be just fine.
So I want to point out, you talked about the fact that UOL are all about their picks. Power of Evil is maxing Charm second. Now, some people do that as their default choice. I've still seen a lot of Foxfire maxes second, but Power of Evil Q, then E max second, so it's going to increase his Charm duration. And that's going to help him out a little bit there with these pickoffs, but so far the hooks are working out.
That just shows that they're going for that pick-oriented.
Good damage, the culling as well. This could be enough to kill Power of Evil. Oh, this is one shot, 200 health left.
You never know, man.
Risky.
That one shot could have been... No, it couldn't.
It definitely couldn't have. You were wrong.
Yep. Anyway, clearing out the pink ward vision here. Millennium is now forming up around that mid lane. Oh boy.
I just realized something. You know how Unicorns of Love's icon is this pink unicorn?
Yep.
Because they have so many pink wards. It's a very obvious there. Ooh, Bubble, nice dodge there. Kerp in the mix though.
Oh, he's still going.
Taking a whole bunch of damage. The hook on a J-Ree. They kill the minions off. The turret does one shot in, but the shark comes to Hillsong. He does not go down, but maybe no. He will survive. The kickback caught next. That's one. Out goes Bardock. Grandin also goes down. Power of Evil. More like power of an amazing Ari. A triple kill, and only 1 kill went to Kerp.
Millennium was ahead when that fight started, but the way they started off for UOL could not have been better. They're going to start pushing this middle turret.
Wow, what a battle. A triple kill now for Power of Evil, and they're going to get plenty of pressure there. Vizichachi going to hold the top lane against Kevin, though this turret might just die anyway. He's going to try, though. This is interesting, actually. The slowest in the 10 styles there. Kevin will take the turret down, but he's at 300 health. No chase left, no people coming up.
Vizichachi 1-0-3. He's going to be right on point, even ahead of when you would typically have your Trinity Force, which is really going to help him out. Vizichachi going with that most played earlier here. You saw it. He dodged J-Ree's bubble by using his Blade Surge to a minion. Perfect play here. Hillsang jumps out. Cottonex a little overcommitted there. The exhaust. And now Vardax goes so hard into this fight, but he gets the reset, and Kerp doesn't take him down. And meanwhile, Power of Evil, despite the fact that he's put a lot of points into his charm, his W is still hurting people. His Q is still doing massive amounts of damage, and the triple kill there is just going to get him back on track, despite being down 0-3 at the start of this game against Kurt.
It's true, and the cool thing about Power of Evil here is that he's actually getting an Abyssal Scepter first, so interesting build, right? No CDR, not a lot of mana regen, just triple Doran's Ring for that. But he's going to have extremely high damage against his opponents. Kerp is not someone who's going to be buying any magic resist. His MR is just the base per level you get from Fizz here.
The flank, though. The ward coverage from UOL allowed them to see that coming, and they aren't going to play into the hands of Kerp just yet.
And a quick chunk from Power of Evil puts Hot next on a half HP. Gonna slow down a little bit. Mid lane, though, could be under fire. Wards for both teams. This choke point is going to be hard for UOL to get through.
Vizicachi has his Trinity Force Power Spike here on Aurelia. He wants to fight in this mid game.
Well, we'll see if they can survive everything cooked. Not quite going to land. Wave Clear still not quite there from the low AP so far of Power of Evil. You can see that's kind of hurting him. He can't one-shot casters.
I have to say, that's probably one of the easiest Trinity Forces that I've seen on an Aurelia. Usually they get bullied in the early game.
Yeah.
He had a CS lead over his lane opponent in window, and he showed up to these early/mid-game fights and got himself large amounts of kill participation, 100% for him.
Yeah, and the great thing is, how often do you see a top laner have the highest CS on his team or the second highest CS overall? Mid lane's been brawling all the time, and the AD carries have been, I mean, you're seeing it with Creatine here, of course, he's #1, but Vardok's having a hard time.
Kurt.
He's off in the flank, though. A little bit of damage coming out from the Culling. Tidal Wave comes in. Gilius does get knocked up. Only person from the Tidal Wave, though. Of course, this Fizz still isolated, very far away.
Dragon is live, and UOL are trying to starve the vision, but keep their mid lane turret alive at the same time. They zoned Kerp off from the flank with Vizicachi. And now, re-establishing mid control. They want the wards to expire on Dragon. They want to wait it out. Then they want to get complete possession of it and force Millennium to have to push mid, because otherwise they'll get picked off in this Fog of War.
Oh, Power of Evil still trying a couple of risky things there. Can't quite land that. And back they go. So interesting to note, you remember how we were talking about Trinity Force plus Pickaxe Aurelias in Challenger way back when? So Vizicachi cannot quite one-shot cast him into this queue on Triforce. It actually might be a breakpoint thing for like getting the reset off those for free. Otherwise we'll have to activate Hiten style to get the reset on casters. So look for that with Vizicachi. Can he get the reset jumping to the back lines?
Some people will build the pickaxe just for that breakpoint on killing the minions with Blaze Surge.
That's my theory. I don't know if it's actually the reason.
I think it turns into Zephyr too.
It does do that too, yeah.
Which we haven't been seeing a lot of. I just remember seeing a whole bunch of Aurelias building Zephyr second item as a split pusher. He wants to teamfight Kevin into the charge.
Kevin in turret range as well. Half HP. Explosive shot on as well, but does not pop the ulti.
Explosive shot from Bardags, discouraging the ultimate. Meanwhile, Vizicachi, he goes to push that top lane, or at least hold it. And now Millennium has established control. The TP comes in. They're ready to fight.
All right, a little bit of a slow on Tristana. Lantern going to reveal the brush, and in comes Unicorns of Love. Level 11 Aurelia, highest level on his team. And Dragon going to be started out by Unicorns of Love. Infinity Edge done for both AD carries. They're basically equal right now. Another Culling comes out for Vizicachi. Half health, he just TP'd in. Under 1,000 health now. Staggered once again down by Millennium. Kerp is still on a flank. He's trying to make plays. Oh, and bottom lane tier 2 has a giant wave. They're going to get a Dragon and maybe a turret for this.
Yeah, Millennium playing the map a little bit better here than UOL, because Kerp has this free lane to do damage to this turret.
Look at it going down. No one's even around. Lee Sin coming around maybe just now, but he can't really easily win the duel here. Kerp goes to the star, kicked over the wall though. Nice escape there by Gilius, but problem is, it is still a lot of health lost. To jump in, they almost get Vardox. Ooh, the charm dodged away from as well. Mid lane outer goes down, plus the Dragon. Good rotations by Millennium.
And Millennium back out to above a 3,000 gold lead for themselves, off of the play of the map. Unicorns of Love have been trying to match them, and they just had a little bit of a window close on them, and then Millennium just went right in. Kerp with the flank, causing pressure even though he didn't get anything out of it, was still able to zone them off. And then the culling from Creatine did enough damage to discourage the fight.
Yeah, so perfect stuff then by Millennium. Their poking is actually working quite well. Despite that they're the ones facing the pick comp who likes these long-range skill shots to start up kills, UOL just actually aren't finding those very often. They're not able to push people off the Dragon. They're going to find a push down to the bottom lane, getting some gold back here, but 2,300 gold, not the worst, just still, it was a rough start for them, and I want to know if they can actually keep up with Millennium here.
And UOL 4 men strong in the bottom. Gilius getting his red buff for himself. And look at their ward coverage all throughout the jungle. And here's the thing too, is that Unicorns of Love, we can't stop talking about how much they ward. But that's really effective against Kerp. He's looking for the flanks. If you see where he comes in, you're going to be golden. Speaking of being golden, he has Zhonya's now too, and here comes the fight.
Itachi hit up by the Shark, takes the lantern away. Ooh, nice charm, does some good damage to Kerp. Half HP on him. Now Creation in the mix, jumps on in. Ooh, he's got a flash away for this one. Boxes down though. Unicorns of Love lose a lot of cooldowns. For Creation's flash. Gilius on the flank though, found by Cotnex. Good ward hop away. Millennium on the retreat right now. Unicorns of Love the same. Alright, nothing gained just yet.
And to think that Unicorns of Love were down so much gold at the start of the game, and they're able to come back off of resilient play. They are up in turrets at the moment, and they're playing the map pretty much back and forth with Millennium.
Yeah.
That last dragon was a little bit of a flub, but at the same time, Unicorns of Love for a challenger team are definitely giving Millennium, which was the third place team for a little while,
right,
a run for their money. It's kind of funny because it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors sometimes with teams where it's like this team can beat this one beats this one, and this one beats that one. Unicorns of Love, I think they have the tools here in their playstyle to really give Millennium a hard game. Millennium's weakness is what UOL excels at.
That's true, and what's interesting about that as well is I think back to when Millennium played the promo tournament last split against Ninjas in Pajamas. And back then, NIP was all about very slow, methodical, late game play. Millennium looked at that and said, we're just going to out late game you. Hold up in the lanes, wait around, every game took an hour, but Millennium won the 7-hour best of 5. Now in this one, Millennium has been able to do the same research, but they have not, I think, kept up that same level of ward pressure that Unicorns of Love has. So Millennium, they're not basically matching them, whereas they were 6 months ago when they pulled the challenger opponent.
Yeah, and even just look at the inventories of Unicorns of Love. Their top laner's buying pink wards, and he has, I think, 3 green wards in his inventory on Vizichachi. He's looking to make sure that his team has this vision, and on top of all that, Gilius is on a Sightstone jungler, whereas Cotnex is not.
Right. And we're seeing that, you know, vision is good. Charm onto Kevin. Decent damage there, but he's still a tanky Dr. Mundo.
Kerp's in the top lane right now, and they're giving free farm to Vardags in the bottom lane. They're trying to get some of their carries fed here on both teams, just mirrored strategies with the core men strong in the mid lane.
Yeah, and it's actually working still just fine for Millennium, though. The problem is that Kerp is going to have a pretty good time dealing with Vardogs. It's actually, I found really... Wow, yeah, the fan vote going...
That 69 for UOL win, damn.
Yeah, 68 now.
Here we go.
A couple more Millennium's fan tweeted. Let's see, Millennium, though, right here up the top lane, tier 2. They rejoin with Kerp. Unicorns of Love are there in time, though. And no big siege by Millennium, just some poke out there from Cotnex.
The fact that they're able to pull Vardags all the way from the bot lane up here is very important because it would have given Millennium a big window of opportunity to exploit that.
Ward doesn't quite go down. Still the top laner and the jungler ready to flank, but not quite. Bubble misses. More poke from Cotnex. Vizichachi's still waiting in the front lines, though. Still, Power Viva losing a lot of health through the culling. Yeah. But Creaton at least has ways of getting his health back up. J-Re can heal him, and this turret is slowly losing health. Whereas Unicorns of Love have not found a way in yet.
It's the 2-item spike here for Creaton. He has the activatable Youmuu's Ghostblade. So this game is all about, because it's a lot of 5-on-5 fights happening here, who engages them, how you engage them, and the positioning off of it. Because if Hylissang gets a hook into a charm on a priority target, or even a squishy target, it's going to start the fight the right way.
Well, you're seeing, though, this health bar still going down. The right kind of fight might be found. J-Re, half health, has to flash away.
The evolution of the W from Cotnex is doing so much damage across this team, just spreading it out. A couple of them are going to back. Trying to make it back to this lane. The hook.
Hook into the brush. They find Cotnex again. They're getting some damage down, but this turret is still losing health. And now there's not 5 members of UOL. This is the push. The flash ship. Shark, rather.
Oh!
Wow, so much damage. Vardogs just dies.
He still had heal, too.
He didn't expect that damage to be enough. Wow. Zhonya's Hourglass, Double Doran's Ring, Sword Shoes, and a Sheen means Scary Shark.
It's a 6-1 Fizz.
Yeah.
Against an 80 carry. He's definitely going to blow you up.
So it seems like Kerp is doing some heavy lifting for the team right now. Unicorns of Love, they just cannot seem to find as many picks as they would hope for in this game. 4,000 gold deficit. The Q does not land into Created. Vizichachi getting kited around, but man, can they blow people up sometimes. That is one kill back on the AD carry. Gilius, though, kicks back Kevin. He's got to be straight. This one, though, it's not going to be enough to get away. In comes Cotnex for even more, and in comes Kerp for the other kills. Vizichachi flashes away and has nowhere to go. Now aggro's Baron, but he will die. Kevin will survive this, and out goes Millennium.
And it looked like Millennium actually wanted to start up the Dragon previously, and now they have 2-for-1 trade. They don't have vision of it. A couple of their members have a lot of gold.
That was a battle that Unicorns of Love started, and it ended up being a 1-for-2. A bad battle for them. They were desperate to find a kill, but they got answered back for it. So Millennium still under control. Unicorns of Love, I mean, they're still able to ward brushes, hide in the fog of war, use these long-range hooks, these charms and whatnot. It is just, there's just so few opportunities to make anything happen.
They can get this Dragon. But once again, close to about that 3,000 gold.
No jungler, though.
Anybody's right now. Who's going to get it?
Oh, okay, it does get picked up by Vardogs, but now in comes Kevin and everyone else. Flash out by Hillsong.
From the back.
In comes Vizichachi. Can he get much, though? Slowed down.
He's a little tankier.
Stunts up Kerp. Is this enough, though? There's the Zonias. Kevin in the front line, still tanking. Charm catches them. Kerp will go down as well. Double kill for Power of Evil plus the Dragon. The hook catches Creatine. There's the exhaust. Hillsong will go down, but they will pick up Lucian. He flashes, doesn't. Oh my god, the damage. He blows up Vardogs. Still a 3-for-2 UOL.
That IE crit took out Vardags there at the very end. And UOL, they closed the gold lead to about only 2,000.
Oh my god, like, I'm so surprised every time the gold is actually this close by Unicorns of Love, because it feels like Millennium is owning them on the map. But the problem is Vizichachi is heavily outfarming Kevin, and Power of Evil still holding up in minions against Kerp.
Here's the thing too, is you just said it feels like Millennium is owning them on the map, but when you have that presence of mind to say, we are still going to fight you guys because you're not that far ahead, is huge.
And there's a kill. They donate to Power of Evil. Oh, wow.
It was so close to dying.
That was good by Gilius, or Cotton all the same, though. By jumping away, he let the red buff tick of Gilius kill him and deny the gold.
Oh, man.
So many hilarious things there.
He almost got the turret, too.
He could have just gone from the start. He kept trying to kite away instead of going for it like, at the very beginning.
The Kha'Zix leaps at the turret, outstretched arm, and falls flat.
If only his W could hit turrets.
This was fantastic. Vardags, he picks up risky play because Cotnex was right over the wall and leaps in. Vizichachi comes in. He's a little tankier than the last time Millennium saw him. So he shows up, he soaks all this damage, and then the charm onto Kevin gets blown up. They immediately get Kerp after that. And then the hook onto Creatine here. Max range pulls Hillsong in. They get the exhaust down, so it takes a little bit longer for him to finish him off. And this right here. Flash forward, bam, 460 crit. He got crit back for only about 300.
Yep. 460 no scope, dude. Took him out.
Stop it, Frank.
You know I will never do that.
I know you won't. I'll just tell you.
It's like, stop being awesome, Zyrene. It's like, it's not going to work.
Anyway, they're going to go ahead and start getting vision control of this Baron area. And like I was saying, when Cotnex was getting killed...
well, speaking of getting killed, Vardogs 100 health, and the culling does exactly its job.
That does so much damage right now. Kerp level 14 has the Lich Bane in the Zonia, 7-2-1, and Vardags is not expecting that type of damage.
He needs a QSS as a third item to drop the Shark. It's like mandatory. As much as it's going to suck for your damage up, but he needs that item so badly. Show's going to go down. Unicorns of Love still within 2,000 gold, but the picks that Millennium get, they have 12 seconds without an enemy AD carry. It could be enough for this turret. Looks like, though, they want to clear the wave and just back out.
Good thing to note, too, is Hillsong is very adept on that Thresh. He has about 400 games in solo queue this season, and his next most played is Morgana with just 100. So that is his baby. That is what he loves to play, and he's played it the most out of all the champions we've seen him on in summer.
Oh, here we go. The attempt in towards the mid lane tier 2. Unicorns of Love wave clearing pretty nicely. The Ahri really clutch for this because they have been sieged for so much, and Power of Evil just holding on against that. Turret, though, still loses a fair bit of health. Poke still comes out from Cotnex.
It helps their strategy, and Power of Evil is very adept on those wave clear type champions that I talked about. And he goes for the Ahri this game, which is still going to accomplish that. They get Kevin.
So Kevin, he is in turret range as well. 1,000 health left on him. There is the ulti popped in a second. I assume the bottom lane tier 2 turret goes down, thanks to some minions finally of Millennium.
And 20 HP doesn't hold up very long against Wave. Same time, though, Fish is back up for Kerp. Both teams so close in gold and resources, but who are they allocated on? It's the mid laners. Both. They are looking to use Wreck and destroy this enemy team. But whoever, and granted, they're both very squishy. If you can catch them, both teams have the tools to do so. You can swing the fight.
Yeah. 13 of the 21 kills this game are on the mid laners overall. More than half per team. Seeing it's kind of about these guys. Hook again onto Kevin. He is back to full health though. Now down to half. Look at that burst damage. They one-shot a Mundo, but the fight begins and down goes Ari. Fizz another kill.
Talked about how squishy these mid laners are. Kerp ends up blowing up Power of Evil. Took him with the shark.
And now this tier 2 turret will go down. Kevin is okay just being a tank. Power of Evil being dead means too much.
Yeah, when he's down, it means they have no wave clear. They can't defend these turrets. He's a huge priority target, and he overcommitted, and I believe he was... No, he overcommitted, and then he wasn't able to get out in time.
Interesting, actually. Power of Evil going for a Void Staff third, not Zhonya's. I don't know with how much threat this Fizz has. I feel like if the priority targets can keep from dying to Fizz, there's no way for Millennium to win a fight. Like, sure, Creatin's farming, but like, I feel like Vizicsacsi holds up against him. This is interesting though. So neither Vardogs or Power of Evil are in any better shape against Kerp. I want to know if that backfires. Kerp now has a Void Staff as well, so even MR barely matters.
Creatin just getting the Bloodthirster on top of his IE and Youmuu's. Dragon in 20 seconds, so that spike is going to mean a good amount here. The ward control from UOL is very scarce at this moment. They haven't had time to set it up. And this Dragon would get them back into that 3k gold difference that they really want to be inside that window because they keep picking fights.
Well, pink ward, and they hide over the wall. Hillsong's got to be careful.
Watch for the fish.
Good ward. Good sweep. Okay, they know Millennium's there. Unicorns of Love, though, they want to fight this 5-on-5. Vizicsacsi taking some poke. Hook's going to get Kevin again. Charm does not land, though, and the culling is dodged away from. Important cooldown missing, and MIL going to start up. Man, that burst from Kerp, though. This Dragon almost dead. Gilius, he wants to steal, though. There's the Q. Nah, picked up there by Cotton. Next, the battle begins. More poke. Kevin still in the front lines. The fish comes out. It finds Hillsong. Vizicsacsi in the wings. And actually, they picked up Cotton next so far. Hillsong is safe in the back line. So that is another ulti down. And out goes Unicorns of Love. They got a kill, but Dragon still went over to Millennium. Oh my god, Kerp goes in. Vizicsacsi goes down to Cretan, and the chase is on. Gilius bubbled beautifully. The knockback, yes, a kill picked up for Vardogs, but can he flash away? Looks like the answer is yes. Lantern can't quite be grabbed in the trees.
Just didn't throw it hard enough.
Yeah.
Both these teams are very good at objective control, and you saw Gilius try to go for that Dragon Smite there. If he had pulled that off, it would have been UOL back in that 3k, almost 2k gold difference.
Oh sure, no, it would have been. Yeah, you're right. 5,000 gold. We would have been about 2.5-ish.
So he goes for the hero play here. He actually goes in because all of MIL pulled off of it, and it's really up to Cotnex's smite there to pick it up. Gilius ended up not getting his own off, but then he gets the revenge kickback and then the kill Sonic Wave. Wow, at this point, Vardags, he's focusing down Kevin because he's the only target that he can really reach at this point. He needs to get more priorities down, and then they actually go off to the side to the right here. I don't know why Vizicsacsi's in that area.
Yeah,
going straight back.
And they bait this team in too. They kind of went over to try to help him. A good escape then at the end by the 80 carry, but yeah. Ended up being a 2-for-2 overall, I believe.
I don't know if Vardags could have just given Kerp a little love shot on the way out. Hope for the crit.
I don't know. I didn't see actually.
The range seemed pretty close, but
I think he's afraid of getting one shot by a Lich Bane Q.
Yeah.
I know that feel where you're just like, I'm gonna die. YOLO, I'm out. Like, that's like the reverse of YOLO. YOLO would be shoot the fish.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it the right way though, if you only really live once, you'd actually be really careful with everything you do.
That's not true. The way that I see YOLO, I'm going to give some YOLO philosophy for a second.
YOLosophy?
Is not like do stupid things. It's embrace your life. Because that's like apply to Riot. YOLO. You only live once.
It's true.
And that's how I got here. So I said YOLO.
So if you were able to respawn, you wouldn't have applied?
I probably would have been like, you know what, I will use this lifetime drinking and partying or doing whatever, and then I can do it some other time. But no, embrace your life. Live it the way you want. Boom.
Well, Vardogs believes in respawns. He did not go for the kill on Curb. So we got to tell him hashtag yellow is the way to be. Let's go. Millennium heading towards the top lane right here. Now the thing is, sieging has been really, really slow work for Millennium. They've been ahead a little bit all game. The sieges are like really arduous, really slow for them. What's actually worked is controlling dragons and barons and kind of getting these random middle of the road fights.
Put a leash on that thing. I like how it goes right for the back of the neck, too.
Yeah. He's back, though.
Yep.
He will not be refrained.
Vizichachi farming that bottom lane. They sweep this vision out. Kerp is on pick duty.
Oh, he's got to be careful, though.
He needs to get vision in there.
Okay, there's got a little bit of time. Unicorns of Love can get all the way around. And yeah, let him. They have to back out. There's no good positioning for them.
UOL.
This is good.
They're going to start
mid is right.
mid lane.
This is very good for Unicorns of Love. They're going to force Millennium to react to them, but they will not have good positioning. This could be an inhib turret.
They're zoning them off. UOL just has such great strategic play. But here comes Kurt from the backside. They're going to get flanked.
Hillsong can zone them out very easily, though. The box, the flays, he'll be fine for this one. They don't stay too long. Good rotation in time by Millennium, but half health. There's a jump. Hillsong only, though, not that important. He is a tanky man with the chalice there. Hooks in, gets caught next. That is big. Oh my god, the Athenes doesn't even matter. There's a kill picked up already, 1 for 0. Nice by Hillsong.
It was a bold move, Cotton, but it didn't pay off. And they get the hook onto him, and he gets completely obliterated. And Kerp couldn't do anything that fight. He threw the fish, but it hit the tanky member.
Yeah, that is like the one guy. Now, it's Choice and Rockji. I've seen the fish go to Hillsong, and he's like, all right. And that's one of the good things about getting some money on your support is you can survive some of these assassin all-ins. There was actually a fair bit of MR by getting that Mikhail's Crucible, plus the upgraded Face of the Mountain. So
I think a lot of these players are actually eating the skill shots for their team. I think like Hill saying he wants to eat the fish, and every time the hook comes out, I feel like Kevin is jumping in front of it to make sure that his teammates don't eat it.
Yeah.
Because he eats a lot of hooks, and I saw him walk in front of a couple, which looked very intentional.
The difficult thing, though, is Kevin's so under-farmed that we've seen him get killed off the hook, off the charm, off everything else happening. So it's a bit of a risk there where, especially because he also went for a Sunfire cape instead of a Warmogs or a Randuin's, he's squishier than you would expect to be, even for this gold level.
And at the same time, though, Creatine is out-farming Vardogs by about the same margin. At 80 CS.
Well, as soon as the Bloodthirster gets completed by Vardogs, he's going to eclipse Creatine in damage. As Creatine moves over towards a tankier build with the Banshee's Veil being the option. Also, Merc treads on him, so he's really a fair bit defensive here, the Millennium AD carry.
Paranoid about the charms.
Yeah. And I mean, for good reason, he'll die if he gets hit by one, but it's interesting.
Both teams dragging in 5 seconds here. UOL and Millennium don't have control of it. Millennium has the inside route, so they'll get the time to set up their wards and actually take it. Look at the pings from UOL to go straight for the dragon. Or the Baron. But they don't make a move for it. Nope. It's a free dragon to Millennium. One of the first free dragons we've seen this game.
Yeah, the only uncontested dragon. I think there's only been 2 uncontested ones. But of the 5, yeah, most of them have been fought over. Vizichachi's still getting that farm up in the top lane. He is still the most farmed member of his team. A tanky, high persistent damage dealer. Guardian Angel coming in soon for him as well. He's about 500 gold from the combined cost.
Kerp in that bot lane, trying to back right now. And the rest of the Unicorns of Love sitting around, figuring out what they want to do at this Baron pit. They missed that ward, though.
Yeah.
They sweeped kind of around it.
And the problem is, in general, for Unicorns of Love, the game is slowly slipping out of their control. That this gold lead, it stayed around 2,000 gold for a very, very, very long time, but now it's 6,000 to 7,000. Millennium, over the last 10 minutes, have grown a lead with 2 dragons in a row, a couple of team fight wins, and Unicorns of Love, even though they're getting picks, they have stopped getting turret kills. They had 4 turrets about 18, 20 minutes into the game, and have made 0 objective progress since.
UOL getting objectives off of good map movements right now. Millennium for the second half of the game have been having their number. Kerp still playing his style where he wants to flank around. He's getting himself the blue buff. And he's going to try to join these fights.
said Millennium has their number. Is that number 1,000? Because a millennium is 1,000 years.
Yeah.
No one liked that one. That's fine. It was weak. Like Hillesong's throwing arm. Oh!
Talking smack, freak.
And the lantern was in the trees, man. I still remember. See? Didn't reach Cotton X. I'm right. Bardock has to jump away. Again, lantern doesn't help anyone.
That one was too far, though. Because Bardags just jumped over it.
Yeah.
Too critical. Too critical. Kerp at the same time, he's in the trees, in the bushes, waiting to flank, waiting to pick people off. Play a bursty style.
Yeah. Wow, those Qs, though, dealing good damage to Gilius, who does not have enough tank stats yet to withstand this damage from Creed and Kevin in the front lines. Nice cleaver slows down Bardock. He jumps away. Power people now. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, okay, good lantern. There you go. Practice makes perfect. Good job, Hillesong. They're actually not letting him use his Face the Mountain charges, though. He's had 4 stacks for a while. Unicorns of Love missing out on teamwork here.
And they have waves actually pushing against the base of Millennium in both top and bottom for Unicorns of Love.
But look at the fact that Millennium have only one strong lane for minions, and yet they're the ones going to dictate pace. UOL are unable to use these minion waves.
UOL, this is the perfect play. They see that huge wave top and bottom, and they say, go bottom. That's where the TP on Millennium is.
Wow. And they go for the turret as opposed to Kevin. They don't let him bait them around. Nice turret pickup. Finally, Unicorns of Love using minion waves to their favor. And now can they get something to happen? Flash forced away from Hillesong. He hooks in Kevin. There's the shark. It gets up to Gilius, and they picked up now the Thresh player. Kevin, half health Ignite is on. He does just barely survive. Gilius finally gets him. In comes the Fizz. He knocks down the AD carry, and Zonius is on. Now a numbers lead, 4 versus 2. Unicorns of Love forced to run away, but Kerp, he's going to be enraged, dodges the charm. And Cretan on the chase as well. A bubble to haste him up. Oh, Cotton X, he's on the flank, slows down Power of Evil. More like Power of Evolved Void Spikes. He knows Cretan unstoppable now. 4 for 1 that fight.
Cotton X getting the
Make
slow.
It 5. There's a shot, he's going down.
UOL. They went for that turret, they got it, but they got collapsed on. That's going to be their jungle, falling over to Millennium, but no, they have more in mind than that. Nope, Created can pick it up in a little bit of a drive-by there.
And blue up grab, and they're going to move all the way over to Baron buff. That should be a pretty easy grab for them here. Just a better team fight. I mean, it was just so long until Unicorns will have finally said, all right, let's battle 5-on-5. And the gold lead was just already so big at that point. It was a pretty straightforward battle for Millennium.
That's going to be them rushing down the Baron. It's a good move there. We saw actually them wanting to get there as fast as possible. Cotnex waited on his evolution until he was near the Baron so he could jump in. Also at the same time, they almost completely missed out on the blue. Creatine got it just barely, and then Jayri even used his bubble to give his passive and to give the movement speed increase.
Yep. Couple small plays was nice. Bardock's level 16 has their red buff again.
It's a little thing.
Not going tanky at all. Last Whisper now added as well. Bardock's just going full squishy build.
As soon as he gets that last Whisper, though, Kevin will be a little bit squishier for him, and he'll be able to burn through that front line and then focus on somebody else, because last time he spent so much of his time in his effective DPS just slamming that into Kevin, and it didn't work.
Well, we'll see if it ends up big enough this time around, because he could just get one shot by Kerp. We're seeing that Fizz still scale up 10, 2, and 6. Death Cap now added. See what his last item ends up being. Could be QSS, could be GA. We'll see.
Creatin, full build. Very, very explosive Lucian at this point.
Yeah, and he's hard to kill with the Banshee's Veil, plus the Merc Treads, so difficult road ahead for Unicorns of Love. They're down 10,000 gold now, Millennium. Again, great Baron call after that last team fight. And they're looking to siege now the top lane inhibitor turret. Unicorns of Love have equalized turrets at this point. They've finally taken them down, but just the neutral objective control by Millennium. The major reason how people have health there pushed around. Great, a couple attacks down.
UOL still have ways to make picks and then start the team fight on their terms. But look at this, the tankiness from Kevin. Soaking up the turret, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're just going to keep doing this back and forth. He's barely taking any damage from it.
could be a very dead turret really soon there. One more shot, down it goes. Millennium are inside the base. Unicorns of Love have healed. They need to fight for something, or they give up a lot of their base to the Baron buff. Still 2 minutes on that. The hook on Kurt, but they're not going to get Charm in time.
The way that Cotnex has been playing this Kha'Zix is absolutely perfect for the way that his composition is. He's setting people up squishy, making them squishier, just softening them, and then Kerp goes in, or it makes them get an objective off because everybody's poked out. This is big.
Ooh, all right.
But Kevin flashed.
Oh yeah, Kevin flashing away from some engage here of Unicorns of Love, but still the base is getting worn down. Kevin can easily regenerate up with his Baron buff and stay safe. There's Chachi with GA just unable to find his way in. Even still, Kevin is gigantically tanky here. And just more poke keeps landing. The culling as well. Hillsong actually going to almost go down, forced to McHale's and face himself. And there goes the top inhibitor.
Also the fact that Cotnex has the Black Cleaver, he's applying that to everybody he hits.
Yep.
With his W.
Just makes life easier. So still the methodical siege for Millennium. They go to the mid lane now. Gigantic wave bottom lane, but they don't seem to care very much about that. And now goes the damage towards the mid inhibitor turret. Half health already. Power Weevil has no way in just yet. And the wave clear just does not seem to be enough there. You're seeing this turret lose half its health every single wave. 30 seconds left on Baron. One more wave with that. This should be a dead turret in this very next wave. Gilius Ward hops in, does not find any Shark, finds power, he does Zonia's, and in comes Kerp though. Gilius is gonna go down, 1-for-0 Kerp Zonia's, and Hillsong also going to drop. Can they pick up the kill? Yes, but it's already 2-for-1. Triaton is tanking in the backlines. Cotnex does not go down. The Hedgetrigger keeps him alive thanks to that shield. And the 2-for-1 mid inhibitor now dead. Millennium 4v3. Can they do more here? In goes the Chachi, slows down Kevin, still in the front lines. Power People not gotta be afraid. Charms created, but there is the McHale's keeping him alive. The Chachi Vardogs again forced away. Millennium just tanking this. They've got a wave now coming in the top lane, and they're gonna go for Nexus turret number 1. Power People gonna get jumped on. He does heal with the charm. Gonna kill Cotnex, but the Chachi of course has the GA. He will be all right. Vardogs, can he get Kevin? Takes 2 turret shots. They're gonna wave clear for now. And now with a 3-on-3, not much else grabbed by Millennium. Some wave clear by Creative. He's got to respect Power People here. Charm Flash could get the kill, but he doesn't go for it.
The bot lane turret, inhibitor turret being destroyed.
Wow.
Here comes the TP with the home guards from Vizichachi.
Nice W. Creatin gonna slow him down, but he still runs faster. Flashes, Qs, gets the stun. Creatin though, the bubble comes in. Vizichachi is going to go down. Overextends. Power People unable to help.
Millennium completely collapsing on that and knowing what was going down. Having the presence of mind to reinforce Creatin.
So look at this. Now a 7-kill lead. Millennium up 10,000 still. Kerp, easy wave clear. No big deal.
And this game really kind of got out of hand from UOL. Thinking back to the point where Gilius went for the Dragonsteel, he did get it, and then that made about the 5k gold lead for Millennium. It's really these dragons that from both of these teams.
Yeah.
You can see there, only 2 have fallen into the hands of UOL. And they just got 1 back. So 9,000 between these two. But the big thing is, after that, they kind of got to the point where they're picking team fights that they were still behind and they still had options.
Yeah.
Wait out dragons to not get poked down, and then it got out of hand. Also the way on the retreat. Wow, retweet, man.
Yep.
Brain.
On
the retreat, Vizichachi picked the wrong way to go out of that fight and got that was a really big part because that gave them pressure, and then under the turret power of evil got picked off, which meant the wave clear was gone. So a lot of things in UOL, just tiny things. Absolutely taken advantage of by Millennium.
This is obviously a very close series and a very close game to start it out. You can't really count UOL out just yet, but certainly Millennium have shown very great play so far. Culling again, Creatin being amazing in this game, knocked people down 10, 3, and 5 on him. And now bot lane under siege.
You just called a player with Zephyr. Amazing.
This is the only Zephyr I will ever defend in an AD carry because he already wanted Merc Treads.
Yep.
This is an actual worthwhile upgrade. This one I will defend. And at least Lucian uses CDR. Like, of all the AD carries, he's like the most likely to care about that item.
UOL trying to make their last stand here. Gilius
goes in, but has to kick Creatin back. He did dash away. Bubble's not going to land. Now, no flash was used by Gilius, but he is down an ultimate here. Millennium still on the siege. And you can see half health now on that third inhibitor turret. Wave of minions is up in the top lane, knocking down an already respawned inhib hook.
Oh, double bubble.
Double bubble gonna knock down Hillsong pretty quick. In goes Kurt for Power of Evil. Shark gets Vizichachi, and there's 2 kills already picked up. This will be game. Millennium now inside the base, gonna knock down every single member here. UOL made their big stand as best they could, but this will be game 1, and the best of 5 going to Millennium.
Great play from both teams, but Millennium ending up with those little edges over and over again.
Yeah.
That's what sealed the victory for them.
Dragon control especially was huge for them. It finally tipped the gold lead high enough for them to just win team fights outright with the gold lead. Unicorns of Love used a big minion wave push in the bot lane, went down, took a turret for it, but by then it was too late. Millennium had the gold. They were just able to easily push in from there. At that point, it was controlled.
12, 3, and 7 for Kerp that game on Fizz.
If
Blind
he had one more
picked it.
kill.
13, 37.
If only he had one more kill.
Still.
Scumbag, you all didn't give it to him. But think about the solo kills he got, though. Think about the fact that he started with 3 kills by like 6 minutes into that game. Like, that game was starting out as the Kerp show, and it ended still the Kerp show. Creatin was able to clean up fights afterwards because his team was winning in 5-on-5s, but that game was Kerp.
Yeah, Kerp was really just blowing people up, but also at the same time, his team was setting him up for that. Cottonex with the poke.
Sure.
Also Creatin with the poke. Creatin did have the most damage dealt that game, but that is to be expected in that type
Sure.
of situation when you're sieging with the culling. So I think that they really set Kerp up for success there in that game. And allowing him to blind pick the Fizz, it's just like Comfort Champion, a LAN event that has a lot at stake. Just go ahead, Kerp, go crazy.
And he did. He did. He went crazy. He did absolutely amazingly. I do have to still give props to UOL. You start a game out with a triple kill in the enemy mid laner, and then Power of Evil was still like, I'm going to get my own triple kill in a team fight mid lane. Bring it, kids. Like, that's really impressive. Like,
I really like that.
I can't count out UOL here. It's still an incredibly close series. We heard when we had the Europeans on the desk yesterday talk about it, that it was going to be a close series the day before as well. It is a hard match to call. Millennium do seem the more controlled game. They do still seem to be better individually as well. And until Unicorns of Love can actually control these dragons away and use the vision lead that they have in these games to actually get control of neutrals, I don't think these games are going to change.
Yeah, there were a couple dragons that had questionable positioning there, and then Millennium got a lot off of it. And then there was some where it looked like they had the inside track to dragon and just gave it up.
Right.
I really think that UOL has all the tools to make this a very interesting series, and they did in that game 1. They were down, and then the team fights erupted, and they ended up winning them when I was just going crazy. Like, how are they even winning these fights with these power spikes that they had? And a lot of that was Vizichachi's early game CS and not getting shut down.
And they had very good individual target calling as well. In team fights, they seemed to always get that one guy and take him down. Kevin was dying, Cotnex was dying. So the picks seemed to work out. But yeah, a little bit of execution on the strategic level, and Unicorns of Love bump up enough. I think that they can handle Millennium. Now, guys, for more of an in-depth look at that match, we're going to head over to Dash and Zion Spartan at the analyst desk.
Thank you, Freak. And you're very right about the fact that that was pretty much the Kerp show. Actually, in Champions League, we were talking about how we absolutely loved Unicorns of Love's team composition. That we felt like in Champions League, they had come out with a more decisive composition. They knew what they wanted to do. But then as soon as we got into those level 1s, there were some early misplays that made it very hard for them to execute on what they wanted to do.
Yeah, going into the game, we saw that Unicorns of Love actually had the better team comp because Millennium's team comp was all on whether Kerp got rolling on Fizz or not. And level 1, you saw that Lee Sin queued in, got chunked to like 20%, and then they saw that the Lucian Nami was going top. And Lucian Nami typically has a pretty good 2v2. Nami's basically makes any lane good, and Lucian's naturally a lane bully. So I was surprised that Unicorns of Love decided to send their 2 top when they could have just sent their 2 bottom. And having control of bottom side allows you to control that dragon and control the early game more. And even though it's in an Irelia and a Mundo, you saw that he didn't really get that far ahead early. So even though Lee Sin Sin was going bottom, trying to like get him ahead. It didn't really matter. And I don't really think Unicorns of Love had that good of an early game plan. They should have realized mid lane is what matters. Fizz versus Ahri. Whoever gets ahead, it's an assassin versus assassin. Back to Season 3. Like whoever gets ahead in that lane is going to snowball the game. One-shot the supports, one-shot everyone. And you saw Kerp doing that. He was going off after he got that. They got the 2 kills mid, and he just kept rolling further and further ahead.
Absolutely. We saw, as you said, Lee Sin go bottom after taking Millennium's red buff in an attempt to get his Aurelius, rolling in that 1v1. But Kha'Zix decided to counter that by going mid, getting that early first blood. At 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, you get a first blood onto your Fizz on top of blowing Ahri's flash. I mean, that was a huge play in terms of allowing for consecutive ganks afterwards.
Yeah, as soon as they got that flash and the kill, Fizz hit 6 before Ahri, ults him, another kill, double kill.
We actually have that replay. We're going to pull that up. It's about 6:40 into the game. It's perfectly timed because by securing that first blood, essentially you're giving Kerp not only more gold, you're giving him that experience advantage, knowing that he's going to hit 6 first. Kha'Zix timed it perfectly, comes back to the lane. We're going to roll the clip out now. Zion, if you could walk us through it.
Yeah, so knowing Ahri's flash is already down, Fizz hit 6 first, easy fish setup. Kha'Zix flashes to secure, to make sure the E lands, and then Ahri instantly just blows up, and then they clean up Lee Sin as well.
And there's even, the attempted counter gank. So, you have to, Lee Sin has the right idea. He knows that that's coming, but it doesn't matter at that point because the level 6 to the level 5 Ahri, it's just like you're not going to come back in that 2v2. And so, given that, now you have a Fizz 3-0. That gives you so much map control, especially on the bottom side because your bot lanes have been sitting up top just farming away that whole time.
Yeah, you saw as soon as they got the advantage, immediately after that double kill, they go secure the red buff. They have complete control of the map. When you have an assassin that far ahead and you have that roaming Kha'Zix jungle, like you can just group up together and control the rest of the map. And Millennium kind of had that early game plan. They knew what they wanted to do, get the Fizz rolling. Unicorns of Love, let's gank a Mundo, and that really didn't turn out that well. And I think Unicorns of Love just need to realize, okay, we had the better comp. Let's see what we can do early game to have a good plan going in with our comp so we can transition well, because I think they had the much better comp than Millennium. Millennium's like, Kerp, please get ahead on Fizz and get really fed. And you saw that. He got so fed, and he was just able to just take control of the game. And if Unicorns of Love can pick a decent comp again and then have a good early game plan, I think they can actually do pretty well. But they were also giving up a lot of dragons mid-game. But I think if they have a better advantage, they might be able to transition a lot better than they did this first game.
Yeah, I like the idea that they should have opted into the standard match or into the 2v1s, saying that, hey, we have a hyper carry Tristana. Let's not let her get bullied around by Lucian, Nami. And Aurelia, she's going to be fine. Like, she'll be able to 2v1. All right, Mundo, whatever, he's going to scale, but Tristana will scale right alongside that. And then let's put our jungler focus mid lane. If they had done that, not only would they have perhaps kept the Fizz down a bit more, they also would have had dragon control because their bot lane would have been on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, it seems like they didn't really react that well. They're like, oh, it's Lucian, Nami going top. Let's send our 2 tops so Irelia gets the 1v1 against Mundo. And instead they could have been like, hey, let's look at this from an objective standpoint. And if they send their 2 top, we send our 2 bottom. Our hyper carry, not only does our hyper carry get farmed, we can also secure the dragon and put more pressure mid with having our support roam mid as well. And they kind of just decided to match the lanes until what looked like was the worst lane for them.
One other quick thing that I want to touch on before we move into our next replay is the build coming out of Kerp, because it's interesting because it's very safe. And given the fact that he came out with so many kills early in the game, a lot of people are like, build damage, build damage, build damage. He built Sorkshoe's Sheen, and then after Sheen, he went straight into an Hourglass before going into a Lich Bane. So he chose to go for less damage, more security, almost in an attempt not to throw.
Yeah, exactly. Usually, typically on Assassin, you don't want to go a defensive item second. You usually want to go for like Rabadons or even DFG, yeah. And he went an Hourglass because he was so fed that he could build a defensive item and still scale well and do a lot of damage. And that was kind of the anti-throw build there. And Kerp just was strong enough to do it. And it made it really hard for him to like mess up in a team fight.
I do want to hop into our second replay, which is the point at which Millennium kind of secured their lead. It's in the bottom lane about 42 minutes into the game. If you can just walk us through this one, it's fairly straightforward, but just the play-by-play, if you will.
Yeah, so Unicorns of Love was just giving up a lot of objectives, and they finally decided to go for a push bottom, and then Mundo kind of just walks up, and at this point, he's just like an unkillable tank. They land the tidal wave, and Basically, Fizz just instantly pops Thresh. Now it's 5v4 already. Mundo's still like half health, and he's chugging along, so he can just step up. He gets actually really low. Lee Sin gets bait. Oh, Lee Sin trades his life for Mundo, but at the end, it doesn't really matter because Kerp just blows Tristana up immediately.
This also shows the ability of Millennium to chase. You know, you have the move speed buffs from Nami there, so when they did finally get that fight where they got the first kill pretty cleanly, Unicorns of Love just ended. They were on the run at this point. You've got Kha'Zix's resets plus his W, like the evolved. He finally evolved the W because he actually evolved Wings first, but he evolves that W. He gets the chase potential, and they just kind of run him down. They ended up securing Baron off that. And then pretty much, you know, as we were actually commenting, they didn't have much of a siege comp. But with that lead, they were able to effectively siege having the Baron buff.
Yeah.
I do want to jump into next game, though, because we only have a little bit more time. So I want to talk about what needs to be done in order to pull out a win here for Unicorns of Love, tie this series up. We've already touched a little bit, like coming in with a bit more of a game plan. Do you think it is, again, just like don't put too much stock into the fact that you lost this game? Let's pick another solid composition like we already did. Let's have confidence in our picks and bans, but then let's play out the early game smarter.
I typically think the second game in a best-of-5 is the most important because the higher seed gets the blue side first game, and I kind of feel like blue side gives that slight advantage. And the second game is really where they can turn it around and bring the heat back on. And what Unicorns of Love had, they had the better draft phase, and I think they can get that again on blue side. And Millennium really likes to have those assassins mid, and they don't really have a lot of wave clear when they pick these assassins. So if Unicorns of Love can get a decent siege comp going, and they can have like a decent like idea of what they want to do going into the early game and where they want their jungler to be, I think they can transition well into like a mid game where they just siege down turrets. And Millennium has, if they have decent disengage, when Millennium engages on them with an assassin, then they can just constantly siege and constantly pick them apart. And I think a siege comp would work really well for Unicorns of Love right here.
All right, well, Millennium looked determined to stay in the LCS in Game 1, but Unicorns of Love may have something to say about that. It's Game 2, shortly after the break. Stay with us.
The Shark hits, Power of Evil, half health, and Gilius maybe didn't want to do that one. He's got to flash away, and Kerp gets the double kill. Can we finish it?
I can stun. Go.
Guys,
nice.
Now your belt. Good. I got him.
Go, please.
Push. Is this enough, though? There's the Zonias. Kevin in the front line, still tanking. Charm catches them. Kerp will go down as well. Double kill for Power of Evil. Oh my God, Kerp goes in. Vizichachi goes down to Cretan, and the chase is on. Gilius bubbled beautifully. Respawned in him hook.
Oh, double bubble.
Double bubble gonna knock down Hillsong pretty quick. In goes Kerp for Power of Evil. Shark gets Vizichachi, and there's 2 kills already picked up. Okay, I'm fine.
Finish this game. Come on. Done.
Just close him.
Very nice. Beautiful game. And that's our first game. Would you believe it?